Now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! 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 ho, ho! Merry Christmas! Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams, and it's new release Saturday, and we were supposed to be taking a look at the film Till, the story of Emmett Till. Unfortunately, it has left the theaters that are local to me, so I was unable to see it to review it. So instead, we are going to discuss quite possibly the greatest team-up film since Spider-Man No Way Home. We're going to take a look at Blues Big City Adventure, starring Joshua De La Cruz, Steve Burns, Donovan Patton, Tracy Page Johnson, B.D. Wong, Brianna Bryan, Ali Stroker, Taboo, and Alex Winter. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. And as I said in the introduction, it's new release Saturday. We were supposed to take a look at the film Till, the story of Emmett Till. But as I addressed, it's been removed from the theaters local to me, so I was unable to get to it and see it. The closest theater I could have gone to see it was 40 to 50 miles away, and with the prices of gas these days, it just wasn't a viable option. So instead, Blues Big City Adventure, and I'm serious when I say that I feel like this is the greatest team-up movie since Spider-Man No Way Home, was released yesterday on Paramount Plus. If you have Paramount Plus, it is free on there. I highly recommend that you give it a watch, especially if you grew up in an era where Blue's Clues was a major part of your life. I'll get more into that at the end, though. Let's get into the movie here, shall we? As our movie opens, we find Josh getting ready for the day. He tells us that today is the day that he finds out if he got the audition with Rainbow Puppy. Josh asks us where Blue is, and she joins him for the finale of his opening song. The mail arrives, and there is a letter in there from Rainbow Puppy informing Josh that he has an audition at 3 o'clock that day. Josh begins to get nervous, but his friends encourage him to go. Before he boards the Skidoo Express, he tells his friends, which for those of you who may not be familiar with Blue's Clues, the viewers at home are his friends. We are his friends. So before he boards the Skidoo Express, he tells his friends that he can't do it without us, and he invites us to join him. Once aboard the Skidoo Express, it begins to fly and transports them via a billboard into the middle of Times Square in New York City. At first view, Josh proclaims that New York is the most spectacular place in the world. However, the noise and chaos of the streets begin to consume Josh and Blue, causing him to declare that they're no longer in storybook world. Josh closes his eyes and he begins to take in the noise. And when he opens them, he begins to find the rhythm of the city. Unfortunately, when Josh goes to check his handy dandy notebook in order to get the address for the audition, he freaks out because it's missing. Back in Storybook World, Salt and Pepper realize that he forgot his handy dandy notebook back at home, so they decide to take a jet to bring it to him. At the auditions, Rainbow Puppy is having a hard time finding that one perfect person to perform with her, despite some amazing voices auditioning. Josh and Blue search the city asking the locals if they have seen his handy dandy notebook. Blue then has an idea to play Blue's Clues in order to find the theater. As they pass the blue note, Josh's friends tell him that they see the first clue, which is on a piano that hangs above the doors. They go inside and they meet Allie Stroker, who attempts to help Josh with the butterflies in his stomach that he's feeling by showing him some of her vocal practice runs. Meanwhile, Salt, Tickety Tock, and Slippery Soap go to the Blueprints Detective Agency, where they find Steve. Steve opens the door and is shocked to see them, as well as us, his old friends, commenting on how big we've gotten and how great we look. Salt, Tickety, and Slippery recruit Steve to help them find Josh and Blue. Steve says that in order to solve this mystery, they need a very special clue, a message in the sky. Luckily, he knows someone who can help with that. We catch back up with Josh and Blue as they wander through Central Park, where Josh's friends proclaim that they see the second clue, rainbow curtains. Meanwhile, Steve has gone to a present store that is owned and operated by none other than Joe, his younger brother. They reminisce for a bit before Salt points out that Josh and Blue are lost. Steve suggests a message in the sky, and since Joe sells balloons, perhaps he can help with that. Back in Central Park, Josh and Blue run into former Black Eyed Peas member Taboo, who encourages Josh to take a deep breath and find his song. Meanwhile, Steve and Joe are searching for Josh and Blue in Central Park when suddenly they hear Josh's singing and Blue's bark. Sadly, though, they just miss them. Back at the auditions, Rainbow Puppy wonders where Josh is because none of the other performers are cutting it. Josh and Blue, meanwhile, continue through Central Park and stumble upon the third and final clue, a stage. Josh says that now they just need their thinking chair, and magically, one appears on the stage. Josh realizes that the answer to Blue's clues is that he needs to find the theater with a piano and rainbow curtains, but he's still unsure how they're going to find it. Thankfully, Blue has another idea: take a New York City taxicab. We then catch back up with Steve and Joe as the balloons have deflated and they still haven't found Josh and Blue. Back in the cabbie tells Josh that sometimes you have to have patience. Have patience and trust the journey. Life always has a way of taking you on the adventure that you need to go on. While riding in the cab, Josh spots Joe and Steve and has the cabbie stop. Joe and Steve then get into the cab and join Josh and Blue. Everyone is happy to see each other, and they all catch up when Steve and the cabbie both say that life is about the adventure at the exact same time. Steve then compliments the cabbie on being so smart, and the cabbie says that he works hard, and Steve and Joe join in when he says, so that he can do anything that you want to do. The cabbie comments that he feels like he knows Steve and Joe personally. Salt then gives Josh back his handy dandy notebook, which has the theater address, and they all head off to the audition. When the cabbie drops everyone off, he reminds Josh that the adventure is the best part, and he tells him to go make his dreams a reality. Everyone tells Josh how proud they are of him as he enters into the theater. But he's too late. Rainbow Puppy and the director have left for the day. Josh apologizes to Steve and Joe for disappointing them, but Salt intervenes and tells Josh to get out there and make his dreams come true. Steve and Joe echo the sentiment, encouraging Josh to get on the stage and sing from the heart. Josh's nerves begin to get the better of him, but everyone tries to make him relax. And Blue reminds him about the vocal runs that he learned earlier, while the rest of the gang remind him about how life is about the adventure. Josh asks his friends if we think that he can do it, and then thanks us for always believing in him. Salt then uses Josh's handy dandy notebook in order to broadcast his singing into the middle of Times Square, where Rainbow Puppy and her director see it on the Jumbotron, and they race back to the theater. Steve and Joe join Josh on stage on guitar and piano respectively, and Rainbow Puppy and her director enter the theater just as Josh finishes his performance, and they offer Josh the role in her Broadway musical. Josh accepts, and Blue is cast to be the choreographer. On opening night, Steve, Joe, Salt, Slippery, and Tickety all attend the performance of Happiness is Magic, and they all appear on stage during the grand finale, as does Blue's old friend, Magenta. Josh once again thanks us for making his dreams come true as our movie comes to its end. In our mid-credits scene, we find Josh back home in Storybook World, brushing his teeth before bed. He tells us that the movie is over and sings the So Long song before our movie officially comes to its close. Some of you may be asking yourself, Renegade, why Blue's Clues? Why this movie to fill in for the movie Till that you were supposed to do? At the end of the day, when I saw this movie was coming out on Paramount Plus, I got that giddy feeling inside. Because even though I was beyond grown by the time Blue's Clues became a thing, I've seen it in the past, watching it with my daughter, watching it with my niece, watching it with my girlfriend's son when I was first getting to know her back in 2001. You know, that's a story for another time, me and my girlfriend, but the girlfriend that I have now is the same girlfriend who was my very first girlfriend. Life happened, we separated, we both had other relationships, and then we found our way back to each other. So her oldest son was somebody I was connecting with when Blue's Clues was a thing. So seeing this takes me back to that. And then because of watching Blue's Clues with him, when I had my daughter, we watched Blue's Clues. We found the old DVDs, specifically the ones with Steve. I liked Joe. A lot of people didn't care for Joe. This isn't a debate about if Joe was good or not. but we tried to find the ones that mainly had Steve because he was the one everybody loved. And I showed those to my daughter. And then when she got too old for them, I used those same DVDs to show to my niece. You know, Blue's Clues has been a better part of my life for 21 years. Wrestling goes back to 98 with me, Blue's Clues in 01. So there's only a 3-year difference between how long both those things have been a part of my life. I took almost a 10-year hiatus from wrestling because of the fact that, I got tired of it. I felt the product was watered down. I've taken hiatuses from Blue's Clues because there was gaps in between my girlfriend's son and my daughter, and then my daughter and my niece, and my niece and today. So I've taken little hiatuses from Blue's Clues as well, but it still sits as a fond memory. So when I saw this was coming out and the fact that all 3 of them were going to be in the movie together, it was something I had to see. And I'm so glad I did. Oh my God. Like I said at the outset, you guys, I am not kidding when I say that this might be the best team up film since Spider Man No Way Home. It is so good. And if you are somebody that was raised on Blue's Clues, or if you are a parent of somebody that was raised on Blue's Clues, I highly encourage you to sit down, watch this movie, and if you don't feel all warm and fuzzy inside, then I apologize for making you sit there for an hour and a half. But I feel that this movie is way cuter than it had any business being. So much so that I am going to give this film 4.5 out of 5 stars when I rate it. Honestly, and this may sound shocking considering the fact that I'm not a musical fan, I wish this movie was longer. I wish this movie was closer to 2 hours instead of under an hour and a half. I really do, because it was that good. I wanted more. But alas, can't always get what you want. But if you try sometimes, you just might find that you get what you need. And this was something that I definitely needed this week. 4.5 out of 5 stars for Blue's Big City Adventure. What do you guys think of it? Those of you that have seen it, let me know. If you're watching the premiere, leave your thoughts and comments over here. If you're watching on demand later in the day, leave your thoughts and comments down here. But let's have that conversation, that discussion, that debate, that interaction that I'm always clamoring for in the comments below. Let me know if I'm crazy. I'm willing to hear it. I'm willing to take the debate. But anybody that was raised on Blue's Clues or is an adult that has raised a kid on Blue's Clues, I think you guys will enjoy this movie. Make sure you guys tune in at the top of the hour, right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, as well as on the Jeff Meacham Network and across the Jeff Meacham Network multiverse of media, as we present to you our live watch-along coverage of AEW Full Gear. Full commentary, live reactions, predictions, Noah Foster, James Hebert on the call. I'll be popping in and out post-match to give some of my reactions. I'll be there for the pre-show, giving some of my thoughts and predictions on the matches. And then, of course, once the show is over, it'll be time once again for another installment of Open Mic Night. Myself, Noah Foster, James Hebert, supposed to have Josh Mansfield joining us this evening, possibly Mikey T again. You just never know who's going to come in the doors of Open Mic Night, step up to the podium, and give their thoughts on the week of professional wrestling. Damn it! But I digress. And then tomorrow, right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, it'll be time once again to step into the war zone. That's right, another edition of the weekly acquisition report, the show where I, the Renegade, show you, the viewers, the latest additions to my ever-growing movie library. This week I'm going to be showing off some DVDs that I got from Goodwill around the same time as I got the Blu-rays that I showed you guys last week. So make sure you guys tune in for the Warzone tomorrow. You're not going to want to miss out on any of that coverage right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, on the Jeff Meacham Network, across the Jeff Meacham Network, multiverse of media, AEW Full Gear, Open Mic Night, the Warzone, and still so much more coming next week. So you guys want to make sure that you tune in and you don't miss any of it. Hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure that notification bell is turned on so that you're alerted anytime a video drops right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel or anytime we go live, as is the case with tonight's pay-per-view coverage, Open Mic Night, Stat Boy Sports Bar, and so much more. Share this video with your family, friends, loved ones, co-workers, movie fanatics, cinephiles in your life, fans of Blue's Clues, fans of the Black Eyed Peas, fans of Alex Winter and BD Wong. Anybody that you can think of that would enjoy this video, my review and my coverage, share it with them. It's the only way we're going to boost up my visibility in YouTube's algorithms so I can eventually get monetized, make some money on this endeavor. Thank you once again to everyone who's joined me here today. It means more to me than you'll ever know, and I will see you guys next time.